Today is a special moment for all of us. 25 years ago, SharePoint started as a simple idea to help teams work together and share knowledge across their organizations. None of us could have predicted the foundation that SharePoint would become for people and teams around the world. And it was shaped by you, our customers, our partners, and most of all, our community. End users, admins, developers, business leaders, all together, we chartered the transformation of work, first with the cloud and now with AI. Along the way, you helped us build the right application, the right platform, and the right infrastructure, pushing it every step of the way to do our very best work, not just for today, but for years to come. Thank you for trusting SharePoint as the foundation for work in building the best community in tech that always supports each other. Before we focus on what's next, let me give you a preview of our upcoming documentary, More Than Code, that highlights the vibrant community and people who have shaped this journey together.
I came to understand that in this community, there's a place for everyone.
We could have never imagined that people would gravitate to this product and the community around it. It is the people. We built the product for you.
The community had this energy, this vibrancy that I had never seen before with any product.
The fact that people would donate their time on a Saturday outside of work to go help and train others just speaks to the magic of the bonds and relationships that are formed.
They were not these big fancy production value things. It was like card tables in the local community college.
But there was clearly more to these SharePoint Saturdays than just learning about SharePoint.
I think the community has helped me and helped me help others.
Every product maker hopes to have something that has that kind of fan following.
And you can't force it.
No, it just has to happen.
It has to be organic.
You always want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and you felt like that. You felt like that whether or not you were part of the Microsoft team.
I got to be somewhere that nobody made me be less than who I was. Nobody made me fit into a box.
For whatever reason, we seem to have accumulated a set of people who wanted to make SharePoint their home.
I'd never really experienced feeling at home like that in my work before.
And I think when we're at our best, it's co-produced with our customers. It is co-developing the future together.
The creativity of our community has just blown me away.
What have customers done that we haven't even thought about yet? It brings a whole different dimension of a problem.
It is probably the most unique product I think I've ever worked on. It's this kind of magical interchange between building a thing that we really hand off to our community and they finish it and assemble it.
And that's really what's taken us forward and into things like Teams and all the other things that we now have. A lot of that is because we have such a strong community.
We want to give people a sense of the future, allow them to feel safe as they experiment with it, and really co-develop so they feel like it's something they're contributing to.
Working in tech is great, learning about SharePoint is great, but in the end, why do we do all this? Is really to have an impact and hopefully to leave a lasting legacy.
We want people to understand that that's the power of technology, that's the power of something like SharePoint that is backed by an ecosystem and community.
This is about human beings building things with other human beings. We will premiere the full documentary at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference in Orlando this April. We're now in a moment where knowledge matters more than ever. As AI becomes part of work every day, every workflow, what really determines its value is whether it understands you, your work, and your organization. And that's where Work IQ, the intelligence layer that grounds Copilot and agents in your real knowledge, is quickly becoming a foundational necessity for AI workload adoptions around the world. And as the number one grounding source for Copilot and agents, SharePoint plays an essential role here. It is the foundation for AI-powered experiences across the Microsoft stack, from intranets to content workflows to business solutions at massive scale. It's where your documents live, where your permissions are respected, and where your organizational context is preserved. Billions of new documents are created in SharePoint every single day. And that isn't just scale, that's signal. a signal that organizations trust SharePoint with their most important content, and that trust is exactly what makes AI useful, responsible, and ready for today's real-world needs. Today isn't just about a look at the past. It's about showing how 25 years of experience has prepared SharePoint for being part of the future of work, and that future is being built right now. So I'm incredibly excited to get started and show you what's next. And to introduce that, I'd like to hand it over to Adam and Denise.
Thanks, Jeff. Denise and I are here today to help you understand the critical role SharePoint plays in organizations across the globe. We'll get specific on how you can get the most out of SharePoint and how it fits into your Microsoft 365 investments.
That's right, Adam. We are humbled that so many organizations have placed their trust in SharePoint to keep their most important knowledge in a way that's both collaborative and secure.
And it's important to understand that SharePoint is not just a destination in Microsoft 365. It's woven deeply across the suite, ensuring seamless experiences that work across the app boundaries.
Think about where work happens today. You jump into Teams, you open a doc in Word from your favorite channel. All of that is backed by SharePoint. Same story if you're streaming a video in Clipchamp, working together in Loop, or cross-publishing a newsletter in Engage and email. Most people don't stop to think about what's underneath because they don't have to. SharePoint's platform provides the secure content foundation behind it all.
The scale of this platform is truly amazing. More than 1 billion users rely on SharePoint every year. And as of last year, that includes OneDrive across both work and personal accounts, which also run on the SharePoint platform. Beyond the role as a platform, though, we see our customers using the SharePoint app to create mission-critical sites for 3 key scenarios. First, collaboration. Millions of teams every day use a SharePoint team site to stay connected and share content. We actually thought it would be fun to show you our own team site. Here's the OneDrive and SharePoint's organization's team site, available both on the web and, of course, within our Teams channel. Our site has over 500,000 visits in just the last month. It's an incredibly active part of our team processes. We highlight important events, store critical documents, announce news and status, and even have a place where new hires can introduce themselves. Just like so many of our customers, we use SharePoint to drive a collaborative and transparent culture and create community.
Now, Adam showed the team-level destinations, but we see so many customers also leveraging SharePoint for the other end of the spectrum, communicating and publishing across the organization. When shared knowledge needs to travel further, when it needs to inform, align, and connect the entire company, that's where SharePoint communication sites come in. They are an easy way of configuring a SharePoint site with your brand and your knowledge. I'm so inspired and impressed by a company like Takeda. They leverage over 3,000 communication sites on SharePoint to break down barriers between divisions, define authoritative knowledge, and keep leaders and employees connected.
Third, we see customers realize the incredible power of technology to automate their processes, with content playing a central role in that transformation. SharePoint is the most used Power Platform connector and the most popular knowledge source for Copilot Studio. In fact, every week, customers run over 3 billion workflows on SharePoint content. For instance, at Amy, agents in SharePoint are helping frontline teams collaborate around trusted knowledge through a simple chat interface in their native language and across mobile devices. That same trusted content foundation is what makes automation possible at scale. For instance, at Mars, SharePoint content fuels Power Automate to streamline enterprise processes and approvals and site provisioning, removing manual effort and accelerating work across the organization. Across finance, legal, sales automation, customers use SharePoint at massive scale, deploying libraries with millions of items, using metadata to categorize it, workflows and agents to automate the processes around it, and Copilot and Search to ensure knowledge is available to the people who need it.
We've seen how our customers are using SharePoint to connect people, scale knowledge, and automate work. Those scenarios didn't just inspire how SharePoint is used, they reshaped how it should feel. Now that you have an idea of what you can hire SharePoint to do for you, it's time for our first product announcement of the day. Inspired by these customer scenarios, we're unveiling the next chapter in the SharePoint user experience. We are giving SharePoint a fresh new look, but that's not all. We're elevating and simplifying core experiences so that tasks that might have previously required deep technical expertise are now more accessible to everyone. We're introducing a modern, cohesive experience designed for how people work in an AI-first world. Now, to better visualize what I mean, let's have a closer look.
For 25 years, you've trusted SharePoint with the knowledge that keeps your business moving. Through every shift in how work happens, we've grown alongside you, earning that trust and making sure you're always prepared for what's next. Today, we're announcing a fresh new look and an experience built for how people work in an AI-first world.
What you just saw is a clear expression of where SharePoint is going. A fresh new look, a more focused front door to get collaborating quickly, simpler content publishing and solution building to make everyone a creator. In short, it's about moving faster from intent to action. We are already seeing a 99% keep rate of the new UX from our early preview users, and we're incredibly excited to get more feedback from our customers because the public preview is launching today. We know there's a lot of change happening in our industry, and part of SharePoint's ethos over 25 years has been to bring customers along and build bridges from the past to the future. So join our preview today and come with us on this journey.
And at the center of the experience is AI. For those of you who heard us talk about the Knowledge Agent last fall, we have simplified and integrated those features into SharePoint. Now, the most relevant actions are available as contextual AI experiences built directly into SharePoint with Copilot.
It's clear that AI in SharePoint will transform every step of the content lifecycle. To help you see what's possible and learn more about the exciting announcements we are making today, we'll turn it over to John.
Thanks, Adam and Denise, and hello, everyone. Really excited to be with you today. Work begins with an idea, but ideas only matter when they evolve. At Microsoft, we believe AI is fundamentally transforming how ideas evolve into outcomes and how content and solutions are created. We first saw this shift with coding assistants in GitHub, and today it's reshaping the entire content lifecycle. Let me walk you through that lifecycle now to see how AI is infusing intelligence into every stage. It starts with build and create. Your ideas move quickly from intent to impact, because content is created right where work happens across pages, sites, workflows, lists, and even agents. And today, we're announcing new innovation in public preview that allows you to build solutions and create content using natural language. No deep expertise required. Simply explain your idea, and SharePoint will start building it for you. Next is organize and automate. As content is created, SharePoint can automatically structure and enrich it with metadata, context, and signals. Business processes route information through approvals and workflows with minimal friction, while AI-ready organization happens in the background, not as extra work for your team, which unlocks ask and find. When knowledge is well organized, discovery becomes natural. You can simply ask questions in your own words, and Copilot responds with grounded, permission-aware answers drawn from trusted content. Search evolves into understanding, turning institutional knowledge into immediate, actionable insight. And throughout, govern and manage is built in. Speed doesn't have to come at the cost of control. Policies travel with content from day one. Permissions are enforced, compliance is automated, and lifecycle management is continuous. Governance isn't a tax on productivity, it's what makes your knowledge trustworthy, durable, and safe to use at AI scale. So this is SharePoint, bringing intelligence and connectivity across the content lifecycle. So let's see how this comes to life. Now, Corey will show you how easy it is to organize, create, and automate your content.
Thanks, John, and hi, everyone. What I'm excited to show you is how building in SharePoint has fundamentally changed. You can now create solutions and communicate with audiences that were previously out of reach without needing deep SharePoint expertise. It's faster, more structured, and governed by default. So everything you build is ready for AI from day one. AI in SharePoint lets you work in natural language, using the same building blocks you already understand, and get results in just minutes. At its core, SharePoint builds on three simple concepts: pages for storytelling, lists for structure, and libraries for knowledge at scale. This agentic experience makes all three easier to use and easier to connect without over-designing upfront. Let's say my organization needs a new site to help us track products under development. In the past, this would have started with a blank site, some trial and error, and a lot of planning. Coming soon to public preview, I can iterate in SharePoint, describing an outcome I'd like to achieve. AI helps me plan and refine my needs, and working together, we can get it right. Once the site exists, SharePoint's agentic experience stays with me everywhere I work, with access to dozens of tools and a deep understanding of the SharePoint platform. The floating action button, often referred to as the fab, scopes AI to my current context, based on where I am and what I'm allowed to do. As a content creator, I can build rich pages through chat using the new Vibe experience. I just describe the outcome I want, no need to remember all the available web parts. AI in SharePoint also helps people create and evolve structured knowledge sources. I can create a list from scratch, from a file, or by describing the data I want to track. I can refine views, ask questions across the data, and also evolve the structure over time. The same applies to document libraries. I can seed a library with example files, and SharePoint proposes the right metadata automatically. As more documents arrive, metadata is enriched behind the scenes and ready for discovery and automation. The key takeaway here is not any single feature, it's the outcome. I can move fast with powerful capabilities right out of the box. And as I build, SharePoint is organizing and enriching content automatically, so it's AI ready from day one. But every organization has its own best practices and guidelines. Corporate branding and tone for external communications, templates used to communicate requirements, and even details like file naming standards. Today, we're announcing SharePoint Skills, a way to codify your organization's processes using SharePoint's agent experience, coming to preview soon. Skills let you turn "this is how we usually do things" into something SharePoint does automatically, for every team, every time. Now, let's see a few skills in action. My organization is highly collaborative, like many of yours. So product libraries contain large volumes of content created across multiple disciplines. We have clear file naming conventions that we want teams to follow. So I've codified those guidelines into a SharePoint skill. Proper file names improve clarity for people, improve search results, and improve the quality of Copilot and agent understanding. Like most organizations, my team also has guidelines for external communications. Tone, brevity, and brand alignment can all be codified into simple skills that benefit every communicator. I'll take this marketing blog and product spec and generate a LinkedIn post. AI recognizes my intent and uses the Zava Comms and Zava LinkedIn skills to generate a high-quality on-brand post in just seconds. You don't need to over-design up front. You don't need to trade speed for governance. You can start small, move fast, and let SharePoint and its agent help your knowledge scale responsibly. And with that, I'll hand it over to Miranda to show you how this knowledge is discovered and governed at scale.
Once the content exists, the real question becomes, how do I find the information? And for admins, how do I keep it under control as it grows? This is where AI fundamentally changes the experience for both end users and admins. For employees, discovery is no longer about remembering where something lives or clicking through a lot of sites to piece things together. With AI in SharePoint, you can ask a question naturally and get an answer that's grounded in trusted content, real permission, and the context of your work. And if you want to go deeper, all you have to do is ask. Now, instead of just telling me about it, AI in SharePoint takes me directly to the right page. This is a great example of how you can use SharePoint AI to find the right page, document, or place, helping you move from question to understanding to action. And now that experience extends even further in the Copilot app with WorkIQ. WorkIQ brings all your work into a single place to ask questions across Microsoft 365, while still respecting the structure and trust your organization depends on. You can scope WorkIQ to specific SharePoint site using the site filter, so Copilot is pulling from the exact content hub your team relies on most, grounded in SharePoint's content, permissions, and context. This result is powerful. I get a great update, not only of the knowledge in the site, but the latest updates that are happening on the site as well. Copilot can summarize recent changes, demonstrating SharePoint knowledge connected across the Microsoft 365 Copilot experience. This turns searching into knowing. People get what they need without overexposure and without needing to understand the underlying structure. But AI isn't just changing how employees find and use information. It's also reshaping how administrators govern and manage content across the organization in meaningful ways. With the SharePoint admin agent, admins gain an intelligent partner that helps them understand their environment, assess content readiness, and take actions, all through targeted language. Instead of manually running reports across various tools, admins can simply ask, what sites are being overshared? Where do we have permission risks? What content is no longer being used? And because SharePoint backs all Microsoft 365 content, those insights span across sites, files, Teams recordings and transcripts, loop components, and every other surface where information is stored and shared. This is what modern governance looks like: proactive, not reactive. Control that doesn't slow teams down, and confidence that allows organizations to move faster, responsibly. Well, that was a quick tour, but the takeaway is that SharePoint isn't just a place to store files. It's a governed knowledge layer that Copilot can securely use across the Microsoft 365 experience. So whether you're creating content, finding answers, or managing at scale, AI is working across the entire lifecycle. Now back to John.
For 25 years, our customers and partners haven't just used SharePoint, they've helped build it. From early access programs to hackathons to just conversations next to the podium after an event session to product previews, you have all helped shape this platform. As work scales with AI, those relationships and partnerships matter more than ever. We rely on you to help SharePoint bring order to growing volumes of content, move faster from idea to execution, and apply AI in ways that are practical and real. And the best way to understand how SharePoint is being used and where it's going is to hear from the people who use it every day.
My name is David Barrick, and I'm the Director of Commercial Analytics at Weatherford, an oilfield service and energy company. The head of the Commercial and Tenders group came to us looking for an AI solution to help with understanding the documents, using AI to get answers quickly. We deal with about 6,000 contracts and tenders per year, So over 3 years, that's 250,000 folders. We've discovered that currently it takes between 1 and 3 minutes to file a document. And with 250,000 documents, that's a lot of time. With the new solution, that 2 to 3 minutes has been reduced down to 10 to 15 seconds. So it's a big time saver there on the filing of them alone. Overall, that's like 5,000 to 6,000 hours saved per year.
Automation surely simplified our lives here. SharePoint also does a great job. The AI goes and auto-classifies the document. So we have completely enriched data throughout the SharePoint.
My name is Danny Burlich. I'm from the Netherlands and I work for a company. I founded a company called Wortel. What we see at Wortel is that over the last 25 years, challenges basically have stayed the same: knowledge, collaboration, and skill. Agents are the shift because they don't just retrieve information, they interpret, summarize, and act. We are constantly leveraging all the great stuff with Copilot and agents, enabling our key personnel to really become ultimately productive. Today, the biggest challenge is signal to noise, finding the right information, trusting it, acting on it fast, with governance and security is still crucial. And that's where SharePoint comes in. SharePoint Search gives great documents. AI gives you outcomes. And SharePoint is moving from a destination to becoming an active participant in getting work done. Organizations will stop thinking of knowledge as something they store and start treating it as a valuable capability. For Wortel, SharePoint has been the hero. We are now evolving into an AI world where SharePoint really is the centerpiece.
I'm Antti Nivala, founder and Chief Innovation Officer at mFiles. When we started mFiles, we made a very deliberate choice to build with Microsoft. For many years, mFiles and SharePoint were seen as alternatives in document management, and it's extremely rare that former competitors can join forces to deliver exceptional customer value. It's a testament to how much SharePoint has evolved in 25 years. What began as a single application has evolved into a powerful set of platform offerings that sits at the heart of Microsoft 365 and Copilot. That means mFiles can amplify the power of Copilot with our industry-specific context, context-aware permission models, and deep, out-of-the-box business system integrations. Thanks to innovations like SharePoint Embedded, customers now have an additional go-to option for document management, with mFiles joining SharePoint and OneDrive as storing content natively within Microsoft 365. We are incredibly proud to be a strategic partner with Microsoft and the SharePoint team. This is the foundation for real-world AI. Document management that is context-first, purpose-built for your use case, and built on the Microsoft 365 platform. And the most exciting part, we are just getting started.
You just heard it in their words. Thank you to our customers and partners for building and shaping SharePoint with us year after year. Jeff, back over to you.
Thanks, John. What you just saw is SharePoint stepping fully into an AI-first world grounded in the trust, scale, and experience we built over 25 years. From contextual AI in SharePoint becoming a natural part of how work gets done, helping you create content, structure knowledge, and build solutions, to a first look at SharePoint's new experience, a simpler, focused front door designed beautifully for speed, clarity, and AI-powered work, now in public preview. So whether you're publishing content or building solutions or unlocking knowledge with Copilot and agents, SharePoint is there, right by your side, ready for what's next. But this is just the beginning. SharePoint isn't just for IT teams or admins. It's for builders and makers across the organization, end users, designers, architects, developers. And that's why today we are excited to officially kick off the SharePoint Hackathon, running from today until March 16th, and it's open to everyone. You do not need to be a developer in this hackathon. There are categories to submit for every role. And we have additional live streams and AMAs and more to support this. Everyone can join on this hackathon. To our customers, partners, community, and engineering team, thank you. This milestone isn't the finish line. It is the start for what we build next together. And with AI, I have never been more excited about delivering better experiences and better extensibility faster than ever to all of you. Don't go just yet. Stick around for the live AMA with our product team and get your burning questions answered. So thank you again for being the best collaborative community, building the best collaboration platform.
Okay.
Do you want me to just talk about screaming monkeys?
I've got a live stream on my phone of my chicken coop.
High energy.
They're always like, more energy. I'm like, ooh.
Microsoft.
That was a really long answer, though.
It is weird, yeah.
Okay.
Backwards? Is it backwards, Daniel? Is this 25? Can't believe I didn't trip on my words.
Happy happy something.
All right, I'm out. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone, to our live Ask Microsoft Anything for SharePoint at 25. We are so happy that you're here. I'm Caruana Gatimu, and I'm the Director of Customer Advocacy for AI and Collaboration at Microsoft. For the last 30 minutes, we've celebrated the incredible 25 years of SharePoint, shared our preview of the upcoming More Than Code short film, and taken a short look at what's next. From the refresh SharePoint experience to how Copilot and AI are helping you create, organize, and unlock knowledge with trust and governance built in. My favorite subject. As you've seen, we're very excited to have this journey ahead. But with so many changes, we know you have questions, and we're here to host this live AMA to make sure that you get your questions answered. If you're watching live and have any questions for the team, go to the link showing below to ask us your questions in the Microsoft Tech community. You'll need to log in and create an account if you don't already have one, and you can ask your questions by submitting it as a comment at the bottom of this event. And before we invite on our product team that's standing by, let me first introduce my co-host for this live AMA. He's a product marketing manager here at Microsoft, leading strategy and storytelling for SharePoint. I'm honored to welcome Rob Nunez. Hey, Rob.
Hello, Caruana. It's a pleasure to be joining you again. And happy birthday again to SharePoint. We've reached the milestone, and it's huge day. Incredible presentation. And again, congratulations to the team as well. So super excited to be here and joining you today on today's show.
That is fantastic. Well, we're not alone. You may think it's just Rob and I, but we have a whole group of people who are actually going to answer all the questions. Let's bring them all on air so that you can see the folks that we've assembled and you can see everybody that is here. Yay, let's everybody wave. Fantastic. We really appreciate the folks that hang out and ask us questions, and we are happy that everyone is here. Rob,
So I think we have a few questions that are starting to roll in, Caruana. So I think we can get kicked off. Caruana, if you want to kick us off with our first question. And again, as Caruana mentioned, please enter any questions into the chat. We'll be happy to answer them. If we don't get to answer them all on the live AMA, we will be able to get to them after the event has wrapped. So feel free to drop any questions that you have in the chat as we continue along. But let's get our first question answered. Caruana, if you want to kick us off, and then we'll start going down the list.
All right, let's do it. This one is for John Miles. John, who can use SharePoint's AI capabilities, and what will they see if they don't have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license?
Yeah, thanks, Caruana, and thanks, Rob. It's a good question. We tried to keep eligibility and licensing really simple for this. So really, any user with a Microsoft 365 Copilot license can use AI in SharePoint, as long as their tenants opted into the preview experience. And there's details on how to do that in our blog and on our Learn documentation. Without a Copilot license, the users won't see or be able to use the SharePoint AI capabilities, which includes the floating action button that you just saw in the event and all those contextual AI skills that show up within that experience. So there's no like half-on AI for them. But that being said, for users that don't have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, they'll still get, of course, the full SharePoint experience. And if a Copilot licensed teammate, for example, has configured some of the AI-driven features in a document library, for example, like if they've enabled the autofill metadata column functionality, then unlicensed users can still see the downstream effects of that. So they'll still be able to see the metadata in the document library, for example, and even when they upload a document, it'll automatically get populated with that same metadata. So they'll still get some benefit if you don't have a Copilot license from this AI functionality, but the big difference is you won't actually be able to click the floating action button, see all the contextualized AI skills, and take advantage of it directly from the SharePoint canvas like that.
That is a fantastic answer. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Rob, what's our next question?
All right, I think so. Our next question is this, Kripal. This might be for you here. So why embark on the new UX refresh now?
Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Rob. Hey, my name's Kripal again, just introducing myself. I'm a product manager at SharePoint. In terms of like, why do the UX refresh now? One, I think, is a little bit on timing. The last time we did a SharePoint UX refresh was back in 2016. And the product's grown dramatically since then. Mobile and Teams have become so much more important post the pandemic. The frontline worker scenario is all important now. Vivo was birthed since then. So the product really sprawled in the last decade. So we think it was important a little bit to invest in re-simplifying the product in some way. I think that was reason number one. Reason number two is like Jeff, Adam, Corey, and John shared earlier today. This is about laying the user experience foundation for the next era of SharePoint, a lot of it which is going to be built on AI. And when we think about user experiences, we want to tap into the muscle memory that users have developed over the 2.5 decades of using SharePoint, but at the same time, create the surfaces where AI can plug in elegantly to augment existing workflows. So that was the second big reason. And the third is, I think it's just important for a web app to look fresh and great. And I think we all felt it. SharePoint was starting to look a little dated, especially the portal side of the business. And we invested like over the last 1.5 to 2 years on creating or shipping great features for our creators. But at the same time, we felt like the app experience itself was starting to feel a little dated. So that was like the third big reason for why we felt, okay, this is the next big hill for us to go out and climb. And we're excited to go put this into the hands of our users today. It's in public preview. So if your tenant opts in, everyone in your tenant. So we're excited to see what our customers tell us.
Fantastic. That's fantastic, Kripal. And yeah, public preview today. And it is also available if you go to aka.ms/SharePoint.ai. We do have a click-through experience of the new SharePoint UX. So hop into the blog, get your hands on that demo as well, so you can get a look and feel of the new experience and enhancements that we have there. So thank you, Kripal. Awesome.
Excellent. That is fantastic. Well, this next question is for Corey. Corey, what happened to the knowledge agent? We keep renaming things.
Yeah, we renamed knowledge agent to AI in SharePoint to simplify the story, and honestly, just to better reflect the reality of the product. So, like, the capabilities are now native, built-in AI experiences across SharePoint. So it's not just a single standalone agent. The new name makes it clear that it's core SharePoint functionality. So it will be included in the M365 Copilot license, like John was saying previously, and also available wherever you work inside of SharePoint. So I know that we've been on a journey renaming lots of products at Microsoft. So thank you for being on that journey with us. Hopefully this is, kind of an alignment with the product as it moves forward, and is pretty generic in that sense, and that AI in SharePoint represents the direction that we're headed.
That is excellent. Thank you for that. And I should say, for those of you who will be joining us at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference, marketing and the product renaming team is sponsoring the SharePoint there. So, come and have a beverage of choice there. And maybe we're going to make them pay for some pizza too, because, fantastic. What's our next question?
Yeah, that was SharePoint, not SharePoint, right, Caruana?
Yes, SharePoint.
SharePoint.
Slip up.
All right.
Rob, what's our next
Thank you,
question?
Corey. Yeah, so we have another question coming from the chat. So as SharePoint continues to position itself as the knowledge platform for Copilot and intelligent agents, How will it ensure data governance, security, and content quality are maintained while leveraging AI-driven automation and insights? So Miranda, we'll pass this question over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Rob. Hey, everyone. Miranda Jones. I lead customer experience for SharePoint and OneDrive. I love this question because I'm actually really proud of the answer. The strength of SharePoint has always been governance and our approach to governance. And with AI, we remain governance first. So our answer kind of doesn't change as we leverage how we use AI to improve content quality by automating the classification of information, by surfacing freshness of ownership, by reducing duplication, elevating authoritative sources, making sure that customers get better insights. We know that Copilot and agents are fully grounded in the same security, identity, compliance controls that we all know and love, and that we all know and trust. So this means that the AI thing
Yes,
is the admin. Oops. I was just going to shameless plug for the admin agent, which also plays a critical role here in helping administrators continuously enforce and monitor those policies like sensitivity labels and retention with real language in real time without having to leverage a ton of other tools.
That is awesome. You know, I love that governance and administration special sauce that we bring to the table, because I also think it really deals with an issue that many people are thinking about, which is responsible AI and making sure it's being grounded on authoritative information. That's what's so great about what we're building into SharePoint right now. So excellent, excellent. All right, so our next question is this. In the blog, it was mentioned that there are already 5,000 tenants who have opted into the AI in SharePoint public preview. What feedback have we heard from them based on their experience so far? Corey, why don't you take this one?
Yeah, that's great. So first, I want to start by saying thank you to the more than 5,000 tenants who have opted in to AI in SharePoint and the previous Knowledge Agent preview. You're our early adopters, and you really matter to us. You're using these in real environments, and you're telling us what's working and what's not. And you're really directly shaping where the product goes next. So we genuinely thank you for your partnership. So in terms of what we've been hearing so far, it's actually pretty consistent. What our customers want is for Copilot to feel more trustworthy and more grounded and more useful in real work. So they're excited to see AI show up closer to their actual content and their day-to-day workflows, especially here in SharePoint, because that's where the organizational knowledge lives. And importantly, we want more than just answers. We want to help get things done. So that feedback is what's driving how AI in SharePoint is really evolving. So we're moving towards a more AI as a real collaborator, not just something that you chat with, but something that can help you do work on top of your content. So this includes things like stronger metadata enrichments that help you improve grounding, or AI assistance that helps teams organize their content, or even author new content, like keeping your intranet pages up to date, rich, and engaging. So SharePoint is the knowledge foundation for AI. And AI in SharePoint is all about turning that foundation into an active workplace where AI can actually reason and like create and act alongside you. So that's how we're taking all that great customer feedback, and please keep it coming, into account as we evolve the platform into SharePoint.
Caroline, do you mind if I add just a little bit to that one, just from what I've been hearing from customers as well?
Please do.
Yeah, big plus one to everything Corey said, obviously, but I think what I'm hearing from customers is there's sort of two dimensions of this that get really interesting. The first is just more of like the obvious one, maybe, which is like the AI in SharePoint specifically, and all of the awesome things you can now do in SharePoint with AI, and all these tools that we're building into the canvas with the floating action button, and it's contextual, and you can use natural language, and all that stuff is very cool. But then the other aspect of it is a lot of that then basically improves your content, that makes it more referenceable and easier to understand by kind of the higher level AI artifacts like just Microsoft 365 Copilot chat and maybe the custom agents that your company is building. So what we're seeing and the feedback we're getting from customers is like, it's really this kind of virtuous cycle where you use the AI in SharePoint to improve and create really good, high value, high fidelity content. And then the AI that you build on top of that, whether it's Copilot or agents, is now grounded in better content and is able to produce more accurate, more relevant, more contextualized responses. And then you just kind of keep that turn going. And it eventually results in better content, better AI responses, better business impact. And so what we're really trying to do with all of this is just keep that flywheel turning. And we think that it ultimately will improve ROI as you just kind of keep it going. So we're hearing a lot of that from customers as well. And we think it's pretty exciting.
Beautifully said, John. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, I'm thrilled that you added that in. Rob, what do we have next?
All right, let's take a look at the list here. So we do have another question around governance. So the question here is, do I need Copilot or SAM licenses to use SharePoint Admin Agent we recently announced? So Dave, I think this question will be for you to respond. So quick introduction of yourself, and then I'll let you have the wheel.
Yeah, sounds good. Hi, everyone. Super awesome to be here. I'm principal product manager. I drive a lot of the governance and admin experiences across SharePoint and Microsoft 365, specifically around content compliance, around the AI products that we're launching. So to answer this question, this is actually a really, really common question we get from customers. So thank you for bringing this up. SAM right now, you can get SAM in two different ways. One, you can purchase SAM, or it's included in your Copilot license. So as long as your organization has Copilot, you will have SharePoint Advanced Management as well. Now, SharePoint Admin Agent is built on top. It's grounded by SAM data. So as long as you have Copilot and you're using SAM, you will have access to SharePoint Admin Agent as well. So just wanted to clarify that.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave.
Fantastic.
All right.
We just keep rolling.
We have a ton more coming in. Yes, we have a ton more coming in. So
we appreciate this. Yeah, and I wanted to mention too that if we don't get to your question on air, we're going to be going back and pulling some of them to answer in our blog. So we're going to try to get to all of your questions. We're definitely picking those on air that we think will help the broadest amount of people. And here's one for our friend Vesa. What is the impact of these new features for any SharePoint framework extensibility? That is your specialty, my friend.
That is my specialty in here. So Vesa, I'm principal product manager on the extensibility developer platform side of the house. And if we go back on what Jeff said on the video platform, and extensibility partners, developers is still our audience. As part of these announcements, we focused more on UX changes. But really important thing to understand is that all of the SharePoint framework extensibility continues to be working without any impact. So internally, for example, for web parts and everything else, we also use SharePoint framework. So there's no impact on those. We do have a separate roadmap and separate schedule on rolling out new capabilities on SharePoint framework. The latest roadmap update was actually last week on that one. And we keep on having great, exciting announcements throughout the spring as well. But quickly summarizing, no actual impact for SharePoint framework, which will keep on being 100% supported, invested, and we keep on building new capabilities on top of that as well. So the UX will be supported for your custom extensibility as well.
That is excellent. Rob, what do we got next, sir?
Moving along. So our next question from the chat. So hoping accessibility is built into all of these new features. Would also love to know how Microsoft expects content to be accurate and not duplicated with conflicting content across hundreds of sites. So Dave, you mind taking this question?
Yeah, I would love to do that. It sounds like another governance question. So I love to see the governance questions come up. It's great. So the first part is, so when the user is using or creating the agent, etc., the agent and all the AI models, they're actually grounded in accessibility. So they actually, the accessibility comes in built in into the answers that you're getting. As far as the how do we kind of keep the content fresh and kind of reduce the amount of duplication, etc. So this is kind of where a lot of our governance tools come in from the admin side that also interact with site owners. The SAM, for example, SharePoint Advanced Management, we have lots of tools around identifying, for example, inactive content, identifying content that is ownerless. And then we're also building out new capabilities around identifying content that is potentially duplicate. So that's all part of SAM data. And then the agent that we talked about earlier, the SharePoint admin agent, actually reasons over that data and kind of produces additional reporting and guidance to the admin to initiate actions that would result in, for example, contact to the content owner to see if that, if inactive or duplicate content is identified, so that the site owner can actually decide what they want to do with that content, delete it or even archive it. We do have also policies in place that will archive this kind of content automatically, depending on how the tenant is set up and how the policy is set up in general. So yeah, this is definitely front and center for us as the use of AI and use of agents is kind of becoming a bigger and bigger aspect of content use in general. So yep, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. So we do have a few more minutes left. I want to try to get through as many of the questions as we have possible. So Caroline, if you want to take the next question.
Absolutely. All right, this is a great one. For the build part of this new design, will only those that can create sites have access, or will anyone with the Microsoft 365 Copilot license have access, regardless if they have the ability to create sites or not? Kripal, you want to take that?
Yeah, I can take that one, Caruana. That's like, yeah, I just want to take a moment to talk about the beauty of building on the Microsoft 365 Copilot platform, whether it's Copilot Studio or building on SharePoint. Your existing permissioning and governance all extend to your AI investments. So the long and short of it is, even if you're on build, even just using UX, if a certain user in your tenant does not have the right permissions to go out and create a site, they will not see that experience. And that same set of experience and promise also extends to AI. So hopefully that's clear. And that's it's like we take permissioning, governance, accessibility, of course, and compliance really seriously every time we build, whether we build a traditional UX feature or whether we're building an AI feature.
That is excellent. We love it when you say that existing governance and permissions are respected. Once an IT pro, always an IT pro. That just makes the IT pro and me very happy.
Yeah,
we love it. Yeah, it's very important. What do we got next, Rob?
Awesome. So next question we have. Hi, any plans to incorporate Knowledge Agent with SharePoint lists to assist with architecture, autofill recommendations? So Corey, I think this will be for you.
Yeah, happy to answer that one. So actually, good news, like we love lists, and we are actually adding them as part of our March release. So rolling out to prod tenants starting today will be support for lists in both the floating action button in the right-hand corner of the list experience, which will bring the common CRUD operations to lists. So being able to create lists via natural language, being able to edit and update them. And then we're also working on being able to incorporate the metadata from lists into Q&A. So the ability for lists to be supported across Copilot experiences. So you can ask questions of lists and that great metadata will be taken into account. And then lastly, we're also working on incorporating autofill into lists. So this is a feature that's in our backlog, and we recognize the benefit of being able to have list columns that are filled by AI. So all of the things that are asked in this question are actually either rolling out in March or coming here shortly in the next couple of months.
That is excellent. Yeah, I'm a lists fan, so that makes me very happy. Here's our next question. How is AI in SharePoint different from Copilot? How is it different from custom-built agents in SharePoint, previously SharePoint agents? And I'm going to call on Kripal to do this one, and maybe John and Corey, you can weigh in as well. I think you're on mute, my friend. There we go. We got you.
Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah, has to happen, right? Yeah, I'll start with the second part first, and then how is the knowledge agent different from custom built agents in SharePoint? So when you think about custom built agents in SharePoint or SharePoint agents, it's every site had the capability for users to go out and create an agent that is scoped specifically to that site with a certain set of capabilities to be able to respond to questions about that site. When we think about the AI and the SharePoint AI capabilities now that we're lighting up, I keep wanting to say knowledge agent, but I won't. It is much broader than that. It is still scoped to a site, but it's a more generic set of capabilities that anybody can use to that, like when they're using that site, irrespective of whether or not they've created custom agents or not. And you'll see, and like Corey mentioned earlier today, we're not just augmenting the ability for users to use certain capabilities, but we also add, we've also lit up the ability for user to create custom skills and so on and so forth, which they can augment to that one single agent that spans across your entire site. So in that, So Corey, is there anything that you would want to add to this?
I think that, the way to think about AI in SharePoint versus SharePoint agents is that AI in SharePoint is, a first-party experience, out of the box. And so to Kripal's point, it supports you as you work across the SharePoint sites, helping you not only be able to answer questions about the content that you might be seeing on the screen, but also to do work, as I was mentioning earlier. When we think of SharePoint agents, you can really think of these as custom agents. It's your ability as a customer to custom ground an agent in a set of content that might exist across multiple sites or might be scoped to a subset of your site to really help your users in the flow of work. So custom agents are really subject matter experts that you define and that your customer or your user can interact with as they work across your intranet. So that's kind of the difference between the out-of-the-box first-party experience and then your opportunity as a third party or a customer to be able to build custom experiences for your users.
And maybe just one quick thing I would add to that, kind of from a licensing perspective or the looking across the Microsoft portfolio. I think to get back to like the original question here, Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot is a license, right, that you buy on top of your productivity E3 or E5 license, which basically gives you access to not only the core Copilot chat AI experience, but all of the different specific AI experiences that we're building into all of the apps and surfaces that you use every day. So think of the AI in SharePoint that we're building as a bunch of contextualized AI skills that are really specific to SharePoint and allow you to do very, document management, knowledge building, creation, publish, all these specific SharePoint flows, and really facilitate that within the SharePoint canvas. It's the same thing if you look at Excel, for example, right? We're building AI into Excel really natively in the same way so that you can, produce formulas using natural language in the same way that in SharePoint, you can now run workflows using natural language, right? So you purchase as a customer, you purchase that one Microsoft 365 Copilot license, and it unlocks AI across your entire productivity suite. And what we're really talking about today is what does that look like specifically from the SharePoint perspective? But as a customer, I would encourage you to look at broadly across the entire portfolio, right? It's like, hey, when I get this one thing, it unlocks a bunch of really cool AI experiences in SharePoint. It unlocks a bunch of really cool AI experiences in Word, in Excel, PowerPoint, right? All of the different platforms and apps that you know and love from Microsoft. We're really increasingly building AI natively into all of those.
And you know that that's important from an adoption perspective, because when you can give people new things and experiences they already understand, like Microsoft Teams or SharePoint or something, it really helps them get over that learning curve. There's a lot of nerves around learning AI, and it can be a little intimidating. And this way, you're already taking your existing knowledge and simply extending it for those added creativity and productivity gains and all the good things that AI can be when you use it as your thinking and productivity partner. So This has been so much fun, everyone. We're coming up on the end of our time together. So I want to ask each of you a question to share with the audience, which is, what SharePoint features are you most excited about that are coming here in the future? And they can be AI or not. Either one is totally fine. But what are you most excited about? Vesa, let's go to you first.
Since I am from the developer extensibility side, for me, always these things open up new opportunities for innovation. So we, as a Microsoft, we do innovation and we produce first-party experiences, but I'm super excited also to see then how customers and partners are adapting these capabilities from an API perspective or from a capability perspective. So for me, the upcoming years or within the next 12 months, I really want to see the AI being more in the product, like John was saying already. So not as a separate thing, it is there all the time for people to take advantage, also from an extensibility perspective. So super exciting time and super excited to see what comes out of it.
That is great, Vesa. And shout out to your cake graphic in the back there. That is super cool.
Representing in the best way possible. Look at that.
I know. And the rest of us actually have sunlight streaming in, which is odd for Seattle in March. Just gotta call that out.
The sunshine came out for the birthday today, so
it did.
Weather.
The weather's spectacular here in Redmond.
Absolutely.
Miranda, what are you excited about?
I would say more than any particular feature, it's the scenarios that I can potentially unlock. I mean, I, like everyone watching this, I work with information. I'm an information worker too. And so on a daily basis, thinking about how do I leverage AI and SharePoint to reduce the toil. Every time I have to do a process where I'm like, ugh, I got to copy and paste, or this is annoying, or I don't want to do this work. How can I use what is available to me in SharePoint to automate or to make it simpler or to streamline it? And so as I think about that for myself, I think about how exciting it is going to be for myself and my team who work very closely with customers to help them unlock efficiencies and reduction of toil and busy work, or what feels like busy work, so that they can be more effective and have more impact in the work that actually really feels like it matters versus what can oftentimes feel like the tax on your day-to-day. So that's what I'm most looking forward to.
That is fantastic. Kripal, what about you?
Yeah, like for me, I think it is one of the features we're announcing in public preview today, which is the ability to author using natural language on a page, effectively what we're calling vibe authoring. I think the last crop of models that we got with Opus 4.6, or whether it is our OpenAI models, 5.2 reasoning, they're a step change improvement that we've seen in terms of how they perform at these tasks. So again, like you can't vibe author everything that you can do with your traditional UX canvas, but we think today's a great start. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what our customers tell us when they start using this. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
It's that moment that allows you to co-create with AI really interactively that I think is so fantastic. And I'm thrilled that it's coming to my SharePoint world. Dave, what about you?
Yeah, from my end, I think I'm in the governance space. So one of the issues that we've seen with admins is that the change management. So we have a lot of features that are coming in, and the pace is really increasing. Our reports are getting a lot more detailed, and admins have to spend a lot of time kind of looking through these reports, reasoning over them, and figuring out what they need to do to govern the content. So with this agentic capabilities that are coming in, we're really reducing that bar to a point where the admin doesn't need to really understand the features or know the features. They just need to know the problems that they're needing to fix, or what their tasks that they need to accomplish. An agent will be there for them to kind of use to kind of close any gaps that there are in kind of change management, et cetera. So I think we're definitely seeing huge progress here, and there's a lot more to come in the next few months. So super excited about the trajectory we're on.
Excellent. I'm going to hop over to Corey, and then I'm going to come to you, John.
Thanks, Caruana. I think I'm most excited to see how our customers start to do work with AI and SharePoint. to Kripal's point, like we're evolving our own capabilities and scenarios on top of the latest models. And these models are multi-turn and reasoning centric. And that's really going to start to unlock a lot of powerful workflows across the SharePoint ecosystem. So, we already know that Knowledge Agent and now AI in SharePoint has been helping customers enrich their content with metadata. But then we know that those enrichments will fuel, consumption through views and search, but then also fuel those really important business process workflows. So I'm really excited to see how our customers will take advantage of the evolution of AI and the powerful underlying models to really get work done.
Fantastic. Now to you, John.
All right, since I'm going last, I'm gonna do two quick things. The first is, and Kripal and Corey kind of mentioned this a little bit, but I think one of the things we're doing at the company at the Microsoft level, which is really interesting, is we're taking a bit of a model agnostic approach, where on the back end, sometimes for these AI experiences, it's using GPT 5.2 or whatever the latest model is going to be in the coming months. Sometimes it's using Opus 4.6. Sometimes it's using something else. And I think that's a really distinct advantage, actually, that we have at Microsoft as a model agnostic company. We can choose what the best model is to complete the task. So we're not beholden to any one specific model on the back end. We can really use whatever works the best for our customers. And I think that's actually a really cool position to be in right now as the models are rapidly improving and kind of at different rates. The other thing that I would say that I'm really excited for specifically, and you'll see a little bit of this in the blog, is we're bringing custom AI skills to SharePoint as well. And I think this is there'll be a lot more coming out about this over the next couple of months. So definitely stay tuned. But we are essentially enabling users to write their own custom AI skills that can be invoked by these different AI experiences. So these skills can understand your company's norms and standards and styles and everything else, so that the end user can easily put in prompts and get these really custom tailored outputs without having to do extreme levels of prompt engineering. And so I think these custom skills are going to increasingly become the way that we cater AI to make it really highly relevant to the specific work context. It's very cool. There's only a little bit about it in the blog from today, but there will be a lot more coming soon. So I would encourage everyone to really stay tuned on that topic specifically.
That is so exciting. Well, we are almost at an end here, but I have a couple more things to share with you. But before we pop out, Rob, thank you for co-hosting with me. Thanks to everyone here. Rob, what are you excited about as you say goodbye?
Yeah, I mean, everyone pretty much hit the nail on the head. But again, as Corey and John mentioned, just seeing what our customers are able to build and create with these tools. I mean, getting to interact with them across our community events and events in general, just seeing the enthusiasm and excitement over what we're providing is always energizing. And I think what we announced today is going to really just help unblock a ton of content and creation across the organization. So super excited to see what our customers are going to be able to build and create with that. So yeah, I think with that, thank you all again for joining the AMA. And of course, thank you to our product team for joining as well. And we're super excited to get into motion. So thank you, Caruana, and thank you, everyone else.
Excellent. It's so fantastic. Well, we are thrilled and excited about everything that you're going to build with all of these new capabilities, which is why we're happy to announce, and I want to remind you about the SharePoint Hackathon. Don't think just because it's called a hackathon that you have to be a developer to join. You don't.
Absolutely
there are categories for all sorts of different people to be included in the hackathon experience. And it is so much fun. This is a great way to get involved in the community and to learn new skills. So make sure you hop in, even if you just, hang out in some of the live streams. They're very fun. Vesa and the team will be running that. So we can't wait to see what everyone builds with that. And also make sure that you visit the SharePoint Hub on adoption.microsoft.com. We have all sorts of materials that are available for you to really dive more deeply into the new features that are in preview today. And more is going to be coming over the course of the next month. We're excited to refresh all of the enablement content for SharePoint. It's such a cornerstone of a great Microsoft 365 Copilot experience and collaboration as a whole. So we want you to get the most out of it that you possibly can. Join us for that hackathon and maybe win a new Surface laptop. And go and check out adoption@microsoft.com/SharePoint so that you can see all of the information that is available. Thank you, my co-host friend. Always appreciate you out here in these events.
Of course. Thank you all, and happy birthday, SharePoint.
Happy birthday, SharePoint. See you all again soon. Bye-bye.